This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about. Real, honest, entertaining, live. DBL starts right now.
3, 2.
Welcome to Daily Blast Live. It's Wednesday, October 30th. I'm here with Brandon and Stephanie. I'm Jeff. Erica has the night off. Let's get right into it, guys. Kevin Hart is giving fans an inside look at his road to recovery. He posted a touching video to Instagram showing how his life has changed. We all know he was in a car accident last month, leaving him with a serious back injury, which required surgery. Let's take a look.
I swear life is funny because some of the craziest things that happen to you end up being the things that you needed most. And in this case, I honestly feel like God basically told me to sit down.
Wow. Yeah, and I love that. Kevin Hart's an inspirational guy. Before his accident, I actually listened to him in the morning. I listen to Positivity, and he always pops up on there. So I have no idea that his road to recovery goes hand in hand with what he just said there. Being positive, he said, you know, this is, you have two roads to go down when something like this happens to you in your life. Yeah. You could curl up in a ball and say, why me? God doesn't love me. Why is this happening to me? Or you could take his road and say, this was God's
divine
chance to tell me I need to spend some more time with my kids, and that's exactly what he's doing. I think that's from his years of positive thinking.
I think so. I think literally this is a sign of divine intervention, right? So there's been times in all of our lives, I'm sure, where something has happened. It's been like a trigger moment, and you just feel as though it changes who you are as a person. I know when I was in a really serious car accident, I should have lost my life. Thank God I didn't, and it really made me reassess what's important to me and like my family, and it makes you really appreciate so many different things that you take for granted every single day. And I think in this situation, that's exactly what he's portraying and saying to everyone.
What was yours? Did you have a particular one that stuck out to you?
I felt as though, you know, like, just don't take literally every day for granted. So with our industry, working in the entertainment industry, sometimes you're working, sometimes you're out of work, and you can easily get into like a slump, right? And I had to think, you know what, you are so lucky, you've achieved so many of your dreams and goals, and you just need to keep doing those things and don't just, I don't know, I was just having like a strange time of life at that point. I'd just been working on a fashion show. I wasn't sure if it was getting renewed or not. I had this really big car accident, and it really shook me and was like, oh my gosh, no. I feel like it was like a sign, like, wake up and just keep doing what you're meant to be doing.
Yeah, I think I needed to hear that from him, and I'm glad he's okay. And I know we kind of teasing about conspiracy theory with everything that happened with our car crash, but you know, being able to hear this, and one of the things he said was some of the craziest things that happened to you ended up being what you needed the most. And for me, you guys know I'm always on the go. You know, I'm always trying to climb a corporate ladder and trying to be the next Michael Strahan. And you know, the other day I was talking to my grandmother. I called her and I was like, Grandma, I just, you know, Nana, I did a sideline reporting for UMass versus UConn, feeling so cool. And she was like, hey, baby, that's great. You know, sorry I don't sound too enthusiastic about it, but your grandfather just slipped and fell. Your uncle's trying to help him get up, and we're dealing with that right now. And that kind of hit me where it's like kind of what it hit Kevin Hart with, where it was, you can be chasing this dream, you can be on the highs, you can be on these lows, but you have to take time for your family, you have to take time for yourself and for those who love you and care about you the most. And so from hearing and watching that 2-minute video to that happening with my grandfather the other day, it kind of grounded me, sat me down, and now I'm booking a ticket to, you know, my next off weekend. It's not about going to hang out in LA with friends or New York or anything. It's about going home and seeing your
grandparents. Well, they're the most important things, right? Your health, like your happiness and your family. Without those things, we don't have anything.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, buddy. All right, guys, Jeopardy host Alex Trebek is looking out for our health. Raquel, what's going on?
Well, Jeff, Alex Trebek is determined to save some lives by getting the word out on the symptoms of pancreatic cancer.
And that's why I've joined forces with the World Pancreatic Cancer Coalition to help raise global awareness of the risks and symptoms of pancreatic cancer. I wish I had known sooner that the persistent stomach pain I experienced prior to my diagnosis was a symptom of pancreatic cancer.
Now, he also wants people to wear purple this November to help raise awareness.
What a legend.
Thank you, Raquel. Yeah, I mean, it's all about finding things out early, especially with cancer, you know?
This is what's so scary, especially about this particular type of cancer. So I had a look just to see what are the signs, and they're things that we might just take for granted, you know, or just like brush off. Like he said, I've got a consistent stomach ache. You could be like, oh, maybe it's something I've eaten. Fatigue, weight loss, maybe you lose your appetite. So these are all things, if you're feeling a little unusual, if you're feeling tired or just out of sorts, please, please, please go get checked.
Yeah,
Seriously.
go to the doctor. I understand everything. I don't want to get into all healthcare and things like that, but you know, it's important you go see your doctor. My wife even complains sometimes about some things. I'm like, go. It doesn't matter what it costs. You can't live with this the rest of your life, or it be something more serious. You need to go to the doctor and get that fixed. I know we always talk about things like that, but it's important to see your doctor and get everything checked out because you're going to regret it later if you don't. All right, guys. Country star Tim McGraw is in the best shape of his life. Look at this guy, 52 years old, and he's revealing what got him to drop 40 pounds. Guess what? Turns out it was his daughter. After seeing him in the 2008 movie Four Christmases, she told him he looked big on screen, and he does compared to what he looks like now. So that's when he decided to work out and ditch booze, burgers, and truck stop foods. And sometimes tough love from your daughter or someone you love could change your life.
Yeah, I think for me it's my sister. My sister Kristen that you guys met. Like, I honestly, when I retired from professional football, I didn't want to touch a weight. I didn't want to do anything. Jeff, you know, you're waking up 5 in the morning, your body's so used to it. After I retired, people were like, oh, let's go work out. I was like, you can go work out. I'm going to Krispy Kreme. Because you never was able to eat these type of foods and do this sort of thing. But I remember I just blew up. And I got the DBL audition, and my sister was like, there's no way you're going in like that.
Wow,
like, there's
that's
absolutely
brutal.
No way you're going in like that.
That's
I went
brutal.
couple weeks, couple months, and then after I booked it, I had 5 weeks before I actually had the report here. I was doing tour-a-days all over again because it's like, you gotta go back to being like a culture.
I do remember looking on Instagram, and it was after we auditioned for the show, and me and B had kept in touch. We were talking to each other, and he was like, "Girl, I am hitting that gym. Like, I am trimming up."
Yeah,
like he was ready.
I ride that wave too, though. Yeah, and it's like certain things, like pictures. If someone takes a picture, I remember one time specifically, we were in LA, and my wife took a picture, and it was at this marathon. Everyone was working out, and I was like, sneaking a beer, you know what I mean? Watching it work out. And I saw a picture of my back, and I was like,
I remember you.
Who is that? And I was like, that's me. The next day.
Boom.
We're all human beings, right? Don't be tough on yourself.
It takes something like a photo or a loved one for me to be like, hey, what's up?
Like, get in the gym, put down the pizza, pick up the weight.
You can still pick up the pizza now. Just gotta go work out.
Gotta get your workout.
To get it in, you gotta get it out. But to get it out,
here we go.
you have to get it in.
What are these?
Bam! This is a market.
Make that your Instagram, like little, you know,
like
your little tag.
Only get 160 characters. That's not.
No. You know, like when it says like Brandon London, and then it says underneath like live life to the fullest. Or you need to write your little quote.
Yeah, there you go.
Duly noted.
All right, guys, check this story out. Suzanne Somers and her husband of more than 40 years have sex twice a day.
Seriously.
Now, Brandon's quote might work for this, too. All thanks to his so-called sex shot. She says they both get weekly injections to get in the mood.
Right.
Twice a day.
That's a lot. I'm not being funny. At 73 and 83, I don't know what's in that shot, but I mean.
Dude, that's a lot if you're not 23.
That's a lot if you're any age. Let's be serious.
Yeah.
But what I was disturbed at, I'm not even going to lie, she casually threw it out there in an interview. One of the times in which she's having sex, she's asleep, and it's at 4 a.m. So I'm like, what? But also, I think she's clearly feeling herself as well, because literally last week we saw that picture.
Her husband is.
Well, she posted that picture, didn't she? And she's all naked. Here we go. Here she is in the flowers, living her best life. I hope he took that and all. So this is the kind of stuff this shot is like promoting and inducing in them,
right?
But
Steph, this was last week we showed this. It got no traction. Now she's coming out with, I take a shot to have sex twice a day.
Oh.
I think she's trying to get back in the spotlight a little bit.
Not so much.
You think?
She's used to being in the spotlight. Come on now. She grew up as a sex symbol. Three's Company. She's a thigh master lady.
I got you.
Come on. So she's now looking, okay, I'm 73, whatever. Now you got these girls on Instagram showing all these goodies off. She's probably like, back in the day, had I had Instagram, I would have been the thirst traps of all thirst traps. So now she's 73.
Yeah, but
you're not so much a thirst trap anymore.
Squatting
come
in the
on,
bushes.
do you really really think, she looks as though she's doing something else, not like taking a sexy picture. I mean, come on. I mean, she looks very pretty, but it's not the most flattering shot, is it? Let's be honest, guys. I mean, I know she's obviously feeling sexy, but if that's the result of lack of sleep, because you're getting woke up at 4 a.m. to have sex and you're half asleep, you don't know what's going on, and the next day you're out in the flowers taking a nude photo shoot looking like you're doing something else.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, we can move on that one.
Just
All right, guys, we're going to switch some gears right now. We have some sad news to share with you guys. Actor and comedian John Witherspoon has died. He was 77 years old, appearing in movies like Next Friday, House Party, remember him, and many more. John was one of the hardest working men in Hollywood. He was survived by his wife, 2 sons, and a very large family. I mean, everyone might not know that name, but everyone knows that face.
You know the face. I could quote his quotes from movies day in, day out. I mean, you being in a football locker room, you know, guys are always saying some sort of one-liner or something. About 90% of quotes, movie quotes in a football locker room or sports locker room came from one of John Witherspoon's characters. And like you said, I mean, Kevin Hart talking about how hard he worked. If John Witherspoon's still doing it, 77 years old, still had different shows on the books as a comedian. Man, we only all wish to live a fulfilled life.
Yeah, and Al Jackson, our very own Al Jackson, who's on the show with us, knows him. He worked with him many times, and he said he was the exact same guy you see on screen, off screen, cared about his family, like you said, still had shows on the book. So he worked to the last day, and he said he was a great guy, and he lived a great life. So
rest in power.
Shout out to him and his family, absolutely. DBL's live, and coming up, spooky real-life stories that inspire your favorite horror movies. We're blowing your mind with freaky film trivia. And could Lori Loughlin's daughters be in trouble too now? Stephanie Jones explains the possible charges next in What Up Wednesday.
Welcome back to DBL. It's What Up Wednesday, where I fill you lot in on all the hot celebrity gossip. So let's head on over to our What Up World map, where our first stop is Boston. That's where Lori Loughlin is going to court. You know, for the whole bribing colleges so her daughters could go to school thing. Yeah, well, so far, her 2 daughters are facing no charges, but a lawyer tells People magazine that all could change. It's because Lori and her husband, Mossimo, are pleading not guilty. Well, meanwhile, the government keeps putting on the pressure to make them plead guilty. So, one expert says by not pleading, Lori and Mossimo could expose their kids to being charged. Here's what's up. It's not gonna happen. Charging the kids is overkill. The chances of these 2 rich lasses going to jail is about as high as their chances of getting into college without any help. Let's be honest. And next stop is not so far away in NYC, home to Queen of 90s rom-coms Meg Ryan. She's now a single lady after calling it quits with John Mellencamp. Oh, how heartbreaking. This is after 8 years together, and they were engaged. Here's what's up. Meg just deserves better. She gave us Harry Met Sally, You've Got Mail, Sleepless in Seattle, Kate and Leopold, and so many amazing love stories. It's time the girl gets around. So Meg, darling, if you're watching, I've got some suggestions for some highly eligible bachelors. What about Lenny Kravitz, Antonio Banderas, and Keanu Reeves? I mean, hear me out. They're all single lads. Lenny could provide the music at the wedding. Imagine what Antonio's voice would be like while reading out the vows. And what about Keanu in a suit? I mean, it's a sight to behold. You've got a tough decision on your hands, babe. I wish it was me. And our last stop is in Malibu. You guessed it, we're talking about the Kardashians. Well, actually the Jenners, but it's the same thing, kind of. Well, Kylie threw Caitlyn Jenner a big birthday bash just last night. Caitlyn turned 70. I mean, can you believe it? It seems like it was just yesterday that Caitlyn was yelling at an 11-year-old Kylie to stop dancing on a stripper pole. Time just flies. But there was one person missing. Who could it be? Chloe. And now everyone is wondering why this sister was noticeably absent. Well, here's what's up. It's no secret that Caitlyn and Chloe have got a bit of beef. And while I could probably make up a reason why, I'm sure we'll all find out about it on the next season of Keeping Up with the Kardashians Sunday nights on E! So lads, what do you reckon? Why they're falling out now?
I don't know. I never know what those Kardashian/Jenners are up to.
They're great when it comes to marketing a new season, so I think they're ahead of this. Right now, they're building some sort of beef. What do you think, Stephanie?
All right, well, Khloe sent Caitlyn a load of flowers, right, for the birthday, but I think it all comes down to Caitlyn's book where she tore to shreds Kris Jenner.
Oh, what if?
I reckon she's not let it go.
What if she just couldn't make it? She had something else to do, and everyone else.
That wouldn't be interesting, Jeff. I've got no time for that everyday chat. It's the Kardashians. They need to keep it fabulous at all times.
Well, that answers that.
That was great.
Thank you, Steph.
I love the new music as well. I love it.
Yeah, you did a great job. Welcome back. Coming up on DBL, true terror that inspired some of the biggest horror movies around. Don't miss the scares when we come back. Welcome back to DBL. Horror films have given us some of the most iconic figures in pop culture, like Pennywise the Clown or Freddy Krueger, but not all scary movies are complete fiction. Some of the most chilling films are actually based on real life, and we're going to share some real scary stories with you. And a warning, these are pretty creepy. You guys ready?
No.
All right,
No, not at
ready or
all.
not, here we come. Speaking of Freddy Krueger, Nightmare on Elm Street came from a Los Angeles Times article. The article was about a boy who was too afraid to sleep and would stay up for days at a time, all because he thought something was chasing him. The boy ended up dying in the middle of the night during one of those nightmares. That's a true story.
Stephanie's face says it all.
He died?
Yeah, that's a true story. So I don't know if he had night terrors.
Maybe he just didn't sleep that much that it killed him because he was too afraid to sleep.
Maybe, I don't know.
That's a real thing, you know.
What's?
Those 8 hours are precious.
Yeah, but maybe he had night terrors and he had a heart attack. I don't
That's
know.
awful.
Yeah, definitely. All right, next, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You ever see that?
I don't like this one.
movie.
I don't like this one.
It has been scaring audiences for decades, but the real story happened in the 1940s and 50s. The real killer was named Ed Gein. Not only did he kill, not only did he kill several people, but he also robbed women's graves, stole their clothes so he could dress up like his dead mother.
I'm not being funny, but that's what charity and second-hand shops are for, darling. You don't need to go digging in a grave.
You want
Like, it's a bit excessive. It's a bit excessive. Let's go to a Goodwill, or, you know, like, go to your next door neighbor and be like, hi, darling, have you any clothes that you want to give away? Not, like, dig up a dead body as you do on the casual Wednesday night.
This is a true story. I'm not being funny.
I don't
he used
like
to make
it.
fused out of people's clothes.
Like, what the hell?
Used to like take their faces
Skin, I'm sorry.
Skin.
and make his face because he had something wrong with his face, some sort of dysfunction with his
So
face, and he would stitch the skin together and then put it on his face.
Like, what is, like,
You're worried about where he's shopping.
seriously.
He's coming after
This is too much.
Did you have a scary movie growing up, like an American? What was the scariest American film you ever saw?
Nightmare on Elm Street was the first scary movie that I ever saw, and I was petrified. There was like knives on his hands, like slashing, like, oh.
Well, this is my least favorite movie of all time.
Yeah.
The Exorcist. It's based on this 14-year-old boy named Roland Doe.
I'm rolling in dough.
Yeah, well, not anymore. In 1949, the family said Roland would move furniture on his own, wake up covered in scratches, and when he spoke, 2 voices came out at the same time. The family enlisted in the help of the Catholic Church, and eventually the demon was, quote, exorcised.
I'm a big believer in the afterlife. I'm a big believer you don't mess around with this stuff unless you really know what you're doing. It doesn't scare me. I've seen the movie, but I've seen objects fly around when I've done Ouija boards and stuff. True story.
In real life?
In real life, I swear.
My good friend, his father was a minister for 50 years, and one of the most educated men I know. Like, doesn't tell stories at all. My buddy used to tell me stories, and I finally met him, and it was hard for me to build up the courage to ask him. But I asked him, and he performed several exorcisms, and he said like walls were shaking and all the real deal stuff. Like,
believe me, I have seen stuff move. It is true. You don't mess with that stuff.
That's why I don't like The Exorcist, because I believe in that stuff.
I believe in it.
Too creepy for me. Happy Halloween tomorrow, everybody. We'll be right back.
Promotional consideration.
Welcome back to DBL. Steph, you have some groovy comments?
I've got a great comment from James Jackson. He's been watching us on YouTube. He says, welcome back, Steph, in capitals. Queen of fashion and What Up Wednesday. Wait, what?
Oh! That was a nice one.
I know. I've not been here for a few days, so I'll gladly appreciate, the comments being like, we missed you.
Is there
I
anything
missed
nice
it
about
too.
me and Brandon?
Yeah.
No, just me.
You sure?
Just me.
Brandon, you look handsome today.
Thank you.
You guys are always
I love
great.
your cheekbones, buddy.
Oh, thanks, man. We'll see you guys tomorrow.